My name's Paul Watson, and I travelled to Mongolia in 2013 to coach a new football team called Bayangol. I ended up subsequently becoming a co-owner of the club, so I spent roughly 3 years working in and around Mongolian football. The thing I really loved about Mongolia was its kind of unique and proud culture, and the sense that this country is so steeped in tradition and kind of has remained true to itself, and yet it's kind of moved with the modern world, so it's become a very welcoming place, but it still has this window to a past world that you see whenever you step out of Ulaanbaatar. You see the incredible steppe and the old nomadic ways, and people were very proud of that, rightly so. So I loved engaging with that culture. Over the last, decade, there's obviously been a really positive movement in Mongolian football. Not least the fact there's now more competition. So when I was there, Erchim were all powerful and they really dominated. And the league opening up and becoming more competitive has helped. There are definitely signs of progress. There's obviously a lot more to do, but I feel like football in Mongolia is growing and it will continue to go from strength to strength. So my feeling is that if Mongolia was able to play more competitive football, we'd see a huge amount of improvement from the national team. But I do think it's come a long way since I was there, because when I was in Mongolia, the national team really had very little chance to play against anyone at all. Now we have Mongolian players even starting to go abroad and experience that, and I think that's really valuable. I was lucky enough to be able to help Gambaya and to help him come to Barnet in the UK, and he's a great player and he's become a real kind of role model for Mongolian footballers. Women's football in Mongolia, it's got a long way to go too, but I think the potential for women's football is huge. And I also think if Mongolian women were encouraged and given a chance to shine, I feel like they could be competitive a lot quicker in the region. Because women's football is newer in a lot of places, especially in that region. So I think women's football is growth opportunity in Mongolian football really is through women's football, and I'd be really excited to see what can be achieved. The funniest things that happened to me in Mongolia, I remember going out one day to do some filming. We were filming something for a documentary, and I was totally unaware that minus 25 degrees would basically give me hypothermia. So I went out completely underdressed, and it was only when the Mongolians around me pointed out that I was about to get frostbite that I came inside and avoided it. You wouldn't believe this if you heard me speak Mongolian, but I tried to learn Mongolian and I put a lot of effort into learning the language, because I think it's very important to try and speak the language of the place you're working in. And so I thought I would surprise them by giving some instructions, really basic things in Mongolian, and I thought this is going to be brilliant. And I stepped up, said the most basic sentences in Mongolian, and everybody just looked completely confused. Some of them looked almost a bit upset. So I thought, what have I said here? I said it in English. They carried on doing what they were doing. After the session, I went up to one of the players who spoke English very well and said, what was wrong with my Mongolian? Was it so bad? And he said, no, coach, it was fine. The words were fine, but it was kind of like my dog was speaking Mongolian to me. And I said, what? I said, yeah, nobody expects their dog to speak Mongolian. A beautiful country, a beautiful language, and ever since I left Mongolia, my heart has still been there, and I still follow the national team's results. I still watch a lot of Mongolian football, so I am very excited to see this project that is taking place now with Brera, and it's my hope that this is the start of something wonderful and new for Mongolia.